I got a drink in my hand and a song in my heart. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Darian and welcome to welcome to yet another wrap up. You may have noticed I did not do a wrap up for June, July, or August. Life just kind of got in the way. Life just started coming and it did not stop coming. And so I'm finally getting around to filming a 3-month wrap up. So instead of me sitting here listing off, I think 25 books is how many books I read in those 3 months. Instead of me just sitting here listing off 25 books I read, I wanted to add a little pizzazz to this video. So we are going to tier rank all of the books that I read from June to August. And of course, since this is a wrap up, as I have been doing for the past few wrap ups on my channel, it's gonna be a drunk wrap up, hey! It's more like a tipsy wrap up because I need to function still. This is my drink of choice today. It's like a little thing of rosé and I've already drank half of it, and then I do have another glass of rosé in case I need more. But I am quite a lightweight, so honestly this is probably enough, but we have backup, okay? We have backup. So like I said, also I decided to film sitting on my bed today because we're just gonna hang out, okay? You and I, we're just hanging out today. I didn't feel like setting up my whole setup, so we're just sitting on my bed. We're having a chill, relaxed time. Grab yourself a drink if you want, grab a snack, and let's just talk about all the books that I read in June, July, and August. I could also call this my summer wrap up. That would make sense. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, the problem with sitting on my bed is I can't put my drink down anywhere. So we're just gonna have to hold it the whole time. Okay, so I do believe we are screen recording, so let's go through my tiers for you guys. So I only have 5. So first up we have a new all-time fave. Pretty self-explanatory. Next we have, to me, that's cinema. That's something I say with my besties all the time, and like, to me, that's cinema. That means like it's not quite like a new favorite of all time, but it's still a great book. I still loved it with my whole heart. Just not quite an all-time fave, but that's cinema. Then we have Made Some Points, which is like, it's still good. I still liked it. It made some points, just not cinema, you know? Then we have Kinda Yucky, like not the worst, you know? It could have been worse, but kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Didn't love it. Wouldn't recommend it necessarily. So we have that, and then Immediately No. I think you get the gist of that one. So I think these ended up loading in alphabetical order, so this is not in the order that I read them, but it's probably fine. I don't know. Do you guys care? If I can remember, I'll tell you which month I read it in, but I'm not too sure. So let's just get started. First we have All Out, I think edited by Sandra Mitchell. This is a short story collection full of queer stories and coming out stories, and I read this in June because it was Pride Month, and that was also the Buzzword-a-thon book that I read for June because the word was all and all out. Get it? We get it. Now I am learning, if you've been watching my videos this year, I am starting to learn that I don't love short story collections. I find I don't get enough out of them. Like, I always want more from them, but you know, they're a short story, so they're gonna be short. So, but I wouldn't say it's kind of yucky because there were some stories that I really liked. So I'm gonna put it in, oh, can I move it? Hello. I'm gonna put it in Made Some Points because some of the stories made some points. And that's all there is to it. I don't know. Then we have The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. This I read in July, I believe, and I was lucky enough to get an ARC through my work. I tabbed this book, and once I was done, I sent it to Lisa, who then also tabbed it, and then she sent it to Casey, who also tabbed it. So it's kind of like a sisterhood of the traveling pants situation going on, and I'm really excited to get the book back because the other two, like, they've seen, especially Casey has seen everyone's tabs at this point, but I haven't seen anyone's annotations or anyone's tabs, so I'm excited to get the book back and see what my besties wrote in it. But now here's the thing with this book. Did I like it? Yes. Is it good? That's a little debatable because I don't think it's as good as the first book, and the more I think about The Spanish Love Deception, if you didn't know, this is a companion to The Spanish Love Deception. It follows the main character's best friend and cousin from the first book. The main character from the first book, her best friend, and her cousin. No one is related. There's no incest going on, okay? It's not Cassandra Clare. But yeah, I enjoyed this book. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm starting to realize Elena Armas maybe is not the greatest writer, but her books are fun, okay? And that's all I need. So I did give this book 4.5. Does it deserve that rating? I don't know, but I'm gonna put it in made some points. Whoops, not kinda yucky. Made some points, because it's not quite, to me, that cinema, but it did make some points. But I do like it more than All Out, so I'm gonna put it in front of it. Get out of the way. Can I not do that? Ah, okay. We figured it out. So that's where I'm putting that one. Oh boy. Okay, next. Next we have Babel. Now, if you saw literally any of my videos from the past few months, I read this back in June, and I think it was one of the first books I read in June. And if you saw my Mid Year Book Tag, if you saw the vlogs where I read this book, you know that this is one of my favorite books of the year and one of my new favorite books of all time. So obviously it has to go into new all-time fave. I adored this book so much. It is dark academia. It is the best dark academia book I have ever read. R.F. Kuang is just on another level of writing. No one is doing it like her. No one, no one, no one. Okay, yeah, no one's doing it like her. She's just an icon, and she is the moment. I mean, Babel is just, I can't, especially inebriated, there's no way I can eloquently express how much I love this book. It is just simply too good, and I highly recommend every single person read it. It's just so good. Like, the amount of research that went into this book is just, who's got the time? Apparently R.F. Kuang does, and she's doing a PhD at the same time as writing these books. Like, is she okay? Like, I'm genuinely a little concerned, but also afraid of her power, you know? But yeah, I could never. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year. Take note that it is one of my favorite books of the year. It used to be the favorite, and now it's one of the favorite. There's a little hint for later. But yeah, I loved it so much. I highly recommend it. I was also lucky to get an ARC of this book, so it's out now. Go get it. Also, my friend Salma, she read it recently, and like, I read the ARC of the book, but we got the Indigo special edition, and Salma showed me like the stuff that's in the Indigo special edition, because obviously she read that version, but I didn't have any of the extra stuff when I read the book. And like, if you have that edition, definitely don't look at the extra stuff until you're done the book. But once you're done the book, go look at it, and then it will rip you apart. I can't believe Rebecca did that to me, but anyways, am I making any sense? Who knows? So let's move on. Beach read. I gotta say, another new all-time fave. Beach read. So you'll notice, I'm pretty sure, yes, you'll notice that all three of Emily Henry's romance books are here. I did read all three of them in the past 3 months. I think I might have read one per month. Is that what I did? Because I read Book Lovers in June, and I think People We Meet in July, and I think Book Lovers in August. No, Book Lovers in June, Beach read in August. What did I just say? You get what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Beach read. It's so good. It's just so good. It is the perfect romance book in my opinion, because it is light and fluffy, but also has some kind of hard to read elements. It does deal with the death of a parent and grief, so trigger warnings for those, but it is just so well written. Like, Emily Henry is fast approaching becoming one of my favorite authors. I mean, she already probably is one of my favorite authors, because I've read 3 of her books and gave them all 5 stars. Oh, I haven't said my star ratings. All Out was 3.5, I think. American Roommate Experiment was 4. No, 4.5. Babel was 5. Beach read was 5. There you go. I might forget some of these ratings, but just bear with me here. But yeah, Beach read, I read it on the beach when I went to Maine, and I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a beachy book. There is a beach in the book, I'll give it that. But yeah, there were times where I was just crying on the beach in public. It's fine. Okay, I'm taking too long explaining these books. So let's just keep going. Next is Blood Scion, and I'm gonna put that in, to me, that's cinema. Blood Scion we read for the Winer's Book Club book. It was the August book, I think, and it was my pick, and I'm so glad I picked this book because I really loved it. First of all, the cover. I knew as soon as I saw the cover it was gonna be a good book, because that cover is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. So Blood Scion, it is YA, but honestly it is one of the most dark YAs I've ever read. In my brain I consider it like new adult, even though the main character is a teenager, but like the content of it definitely reads like new adult in my mind. It is very dark, very gory. There is a lot of death. There is mentions of SA, and it's very dark, but it is so well written, especially for a debut. Like, she really snapped with this one. I loved it so much, and I cannot wait to read the next book in the series. I think it's only going to be a duology, but I'm just so excited to see what else this author writes. The author is Deborah Fillet, I believe is her name, and I'm just so excited to read the rest of it. So highly recommend that book. It is very underrated. I mean, it only came out this year, but I loved it. So there you go. Okay, next we have Book Lovers. She's going where she belongs. She's going in the new all-time fave category. This was the first Emily Henry book I read, and I read it at such the perfect time. This is the exact book I needed in the moment that I read it. It is just so good. Now, do I like it more than Beach Read? It's hard to say. In my head, I think Beach Read is the better book, but I think I personally liked Book Lovers better just because of how perfect the moment was that I read this book. So I'm gonna put it above Beach Read for now, but they're very close in my brain. Like, in my mind, Beach Read is better, but I liked Book Lovers more. You know what I'm trying to say? But it was just so cute. I love Charlie so much. He is the perfect man. He is grumpy, and that's all I need in a man. So that's where it's going. I love seeing Babel and then Emily Henry in the top row. Okay, next we have Book of Night. Now listen. I did DNF this book. This was supposed to be the Winer's book for June, I think, and I DNF'd it. Amanda loved it, and then Rachel and Sasha both felt kind of meh about it, and then we just never ended up having the live show about it because none of us really had much to say about it, except for Amanda probably. But yeah, I DNF'd it, so should I even rank it? I think so, because I didn't like what I did read of it. I just was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. I really did not like Holly Black's writing style in this. I definitely do want to try reading the Folk of the Air series because I think I would like that more, but this is an adult book, whereas that series is YA. But yeah, I just didn't like it. I didn't like anything about it. I was very confused, and I got like 70 pages in, and then I said, that's it for me. I'm gonna head out. Okay, next we have City of Lost Souls. City of Lost Souls, right? No, City of Fallen Angels. City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare. This is the first, yes. So if you don't know, me and my besties, Lisa and Casey, are hosting a Shadowhunters read-along this year, and City of Fallen Angels was the one we read in, I think, June. Or was it May? This might have been the May book, but I only read it in June. Anyways, I read it a long time ago, and to me this was kind of yucky. I did not love this book very much. I thought it was really boring. I think I gave it like 3 stars, so it wasn't the worst thing I've ever read, but I didn't love it. I don't really like the Mortal Instruments series that much. I thought the first book was really fun, and then the third book was like kind of okay. The rest of them are pretty meh. I mean, I'll talk about City of Lost Souls. Actually, I'll talk about it right now. City of Lost Souls, I'll also put in kind of yucky. I didn't hate it. I think I gave it 2.5 stars, so I liked it even less than City of Fallen Angels. You know, I just don't love this series. So I'm just gonna leave them there. And then next we have Clockwork Prince, which was the, I wanna say, June book. Does that even make sense? I think so. Okay, wait, let's think about this. City of Fallen Angels was May, Clockwork Prince was June, City of Lost Souls was July, Clockwork Princess was August. Yes, it all makes sense. So Clockwork Prince, now, okay, I'm gonna put it in new all-time fave. I'm gonna put it in new all-time fave, even though it's not a new all-time fave, but I gave it 5 stars and I loved it. And like, to me it deserved to be at the top. So, but it's not a new all-time fave because I have read it before. I love the Infernal Devices series. To me it's so much superior than the Mortal Instruments series, and that's the tea, you know? And I recently read Clockwork Princess in September. It's so good. Oh my goodness. So yeah, oh my god, I almost, some of these books I'm like, wow, I forgot I read these. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. New all-time fave. Yeah. New all-time fave. First I was like, do I want to put that to me? That's new all-time fave. I don't know. I think I would put this here if we're going in order. I don't know. But Daughter of the Moon Goddess I really loved. That is definitely a book I want to reread because I feel like while I was reading it there was stuff I was a little confused about and I was just trying to figure things out, and I feel like on reread I would like it even more. But that being said, I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. I loved the world building. I loved the main character. She was such a girl boss. I loved her so much. I loved the romance in the book, and like there is kind of a love triangle, I guess, and I love the dynamic between her and like the 2 love interests. It was just so well done. There's dragons. Like what more do you want? I loved it so much, and I can't wait to own a physical copy because I read the arc of this book and I just want to own it and hold it. It's just such a pretty book too. Like, come on now. Okay, so next we have Dress Codes for Small Towns, and I think I'm gonna put that, I'm gonna put it here and Made Some Point. Can you? Yeah. It Made Some Points. I don't remember what I gave it. It might have been 4 stars. I really liked this book. It is a YA contemporary and it is very queer, which I very much appreciated. I found the writing style a little bit difficult to get into, but overall I really like this. I think I also read this for the Buzzwordathon for one of the months, but I don't remember which month. But I thought it was good. It's not a book that has stuck with me since I finished it, but I don't know, it's pretty good. I don't know. Oh god, okay. We all know where this is going. No, wait, this goes here. Over here. From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, our Winer's book for July? June? July. May? When did we read this? It might have been for May, but I think I read it in June. I do remember reading this and Babel back to back, which was quite the whiplash I got because Babel was at the time my favorite book of the year. From Blood and Ash is my least favorite book of all time. I hate this book so much. I cannot believe how many people like this book. Like, there's a lot of books that I don't like that I'm like, okay, I didn't like this, but I can see why people like this. This is not one of those books. I truly do not understand what people like. I can't even fathom reading this book and be like, yes, good, that's good. Like, no, I'm not trying to judge people who like it. I like some questionable things too, like, let's be honest. But from Blood and Ash, I do not see the appeal at all. I didn't like any of the characters. Poppy is one of the stupidest main characters I've ever read, and I hated being in her head so much because she would not stop thinking. I don't think we needed every single one of her thoughts at every given moment of every time of day. Like, did we need to be in her head at every second of every day? I don't think so. She was so annoying. Hawk? People like this man? No, 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 no. Low-key abusive. I hated him. Honeydew, let's get out of here. Like, I hate this book so much. The writing was so bad. I never want to read another JLA book ever again. You can't make me. I hate this book. So it's going behind Book of Night, which I didn't even finish, but I finished From Blood and Ash because I'm a good whiner, okay? Book of Night I just didn't understand, hence why I didn't finish it. From Blood and Ash I was just like it got to a point where it was so bad, like I was kind of enjoying the experience reading it, but also I was listening to the audiobook, which I don't know if I could have finished it if I was reading it physically, but anyways, it was awful. That's all I have to say. Okay, next we have Haikyuu Volume 1, which I'm gonna put in To Me That's Cinema. I did give it 5 stars, but I wouldn't say it's a new all-time fave, but I think that's partly just because I've already seen the TV show, and the TV show I would consider a new all-time fave, and the manga was like almost the exact same as the TV show, and I know like the manga came first, but when I think of Haikyuu, I think of the TV show. But I'm very happy I read the first volume in the series. I do have the second volume that I would like to read soon, and then I can read all the volumes and then rewatch the show if I really want to. I don't know. So there we go. Then we have I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jenna McCurdy. This book, did I read it last month? I think so, in August, and this is definitely a new all-time fave. I am gonna put it, it's hard to rank this book. Like, it's nonfiction, it's a memoir. I'm gonna put it here. But like, I don't know, it's kind of weird to rank it. I think if I didn't love it as much as I did, I wouldn't rank it, but because it's so good, it has to go at the tippy top, you know? It's just such, I mean, everyone is talking about this book, so do I even need to say anything about it? Probably not. But it's just so well written, and I cannot believe the things that this woman went through, and she still, you know, went to the iCarly set every day and everything like that. Like, it's so crazy to learn the story of someone that you watched when you were younger, and I have so much respect for her for being so honest and telling her story in such a candid way, and it's just so well written. She adds a bit of humor to the book, but it's also so devastating. Huge trigger warnings for, I mean, death of a parent, for eating disorder, for abusive parent, for SA. It's just her life. I'm just so happy that she's in a better place now. Like, I'm so proud of her. And if you haven't picked this book up yet, I know it's been hard to find, but if you can find a copy, it is on Scribd. I do have my Scribd referral code in my description. If you want to get 2 months free, you can click the link in my description and I get 1 month free. It's a win-win situation, and you can listen to the audiobook, which she narrates herself, and she did a great job narrating it. So that's my story. Okay, next we have a very different book, Never Been Kissed. I'm gonna put this in Made Some Points. That seems like that's where it fits. I think I gave this book 4 stars, and like, it's not a book that has really stuck with me, but I really appreciated it for what it was. It is this author's debut. I think it's by Timothy Janofsky, I think is his name, and it's his debut. It's a gay romance, and one of the main characters is demisexual, and he is just learning about his demisexuality for the first time, and the exploration of his sexuality was so amazing. And I also loved his partner and how his partner like reacted to his sexuality and how he acted around him and wanted to make him feel safe at all times. I just really appreciated that. So I thought this was really cute. It's not like the greatest book ever or anything. It is super cheesy and corny. Like, the writing, sometimes I was like, okay, like that's a little much, but I really liked it for the rep that it had, and I really appreciated it, so Made Some Points. There you go. Okay, we only have, I don't know how many, but 8? No, 9. That's not how you count. Okay, next we have Nick and Charlie. I gotta put that in To Me That's Cinema. I'll put it right here. Can you? Thank you. I'll put it right here. Nick and Charlie. I think I gave this 4.5 stars, but if you don't know, this is a novella about, try to guess, Nick and Charlie. From Heartstopper, from the Oseman verse. This is by Alice Oseman, obviously. And it takes place like 2 years, I think, after the first volume of Heartstopper. And if you don't know what Heartstopper, Nick, if you don't know what Heartstopper is, first of all, how dare you? Please go read the comics, watch the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It's one of the best adaptations I've ever seen. I've watched the show so many times. I don't even know how many times at this point, but I've watched it so many times. But yeah, so Nick and Charlie, oh yeah, okay. So it takes place 2 years after, I think, the first volume of Heartstopper, and if you don't know, Nick is a year older than Charlie, so it starts off with Nick, like, the end of the school year, and he's going off to college at the end, or university, because they're in the UK. He's going off to university at the end of summer, and Charlie is feeling really upset because it seems like all he's talking about is how excited he is for university, and Charlie is interpreting that as he's excited to leave him behind. And this whole book is so sad. I read the entire thing while I was at work. I mean, it's not very long, but I read it all at work, and I just, if I had read it when I was home, I would have been sobbing. Like, this whole book is basically just a fight between Nick and Charlie, my baby boys, my sons. Like, it was so hard to read because I just want them to be happy at all times. But obviously I loved it because it's Nick and Charlie, and I gave it 4.5 stars, and to me, that's cinema. Thank you. Good night. Okay, next we have People We Meet on Vacation. Where do I want to put this? I think I'm gonna put this here in To Me That's Cinema, because it's definitely my least favorite of the Emily Henry books that I've read, but I still gave it 5 stars. I still really loved it. I listened to the audiobook, thought the audiobook was great. I truly don't understand the people who hate this book with a passion. Poppy showered, another Poppy, but this Poppy's way better than the other Poppy. But Poppy showered multiple times in this book, and I will die on this hill. She clearly showered multiple times. I don't know what everyone is talking about, but I just thought this was a silly, goofy time. I thought it was really cute. I mean, I love Emily Henry. I love her writing. It's just so good and funny, and there's always some darker elements to her books, but overall it's just a nice time to read. I'm kind of losing it. But I'm almost done this, by the way. Are you proud of me? To Be That Cinema, I still gave it 5 stars, but I didn't like it quite as much as the other 2 Emily Henry books I read, but I still really loved it. And that's all I gotta say. Okay. Next we have She Drives Me Crazy, which I'm gonna put over here. Yes. Let me tell you something about this book. When I started listening to this book, I thought I was just, again, going in for a silly, goofy time with a queer sapphic romance about a sporty gal and a more feminine, girly gal. And I mean, that's what I got. But in addition to that, I got myself reopening some wounds and digging into some of my trauma, because one thing I did not know about this book is that it would focus a lot on the fact that Scotty, who is the redhead on the cover, she's the one who plays basketball. There was a lot of talk about her breakup with her ex-girlfriend and her, oh god, my battery's flashing. Okay, please hold out a little longer. But I didn't realize it would talk a lot about her breakup with her ex-girlfriend and her feelings, processing that and still recovering from that, and also like everyone else's opinions on her ex-girlfriend, and like the way her thoughts regarding her breakup are almost the exact thoughts that I have had regarding my own breakup. And it really just hit me, and I've never seen like these exact thoughts. Like I've read, you know, stuff about people breaking up and parts of it have resonated with me, but the way she described her feelings were exactly how I felt after my breakup, and it just hit something in my heart, and I just really loved it. And I loved the relationship, obviously. I loved the sapphic relationship in this book, and I just really appreciated this book. So I gave it 4.5 stars. Honestly, if I read it again, it might be 5 stars. Because I just really loved it. I really appreciated the feelings explored regarding her breakup, and yeah, so there you go. Okay, so next we have Spy Family Volumes 1 and 2, and these are gonna go, where am I gonna put these? I mean, I know where I'm gonna put them because they're going up here, but where up here? Like here? I'll put them both here. Hello? Thank you. So Spy Family Volumes 1 and 2, this is another manga series, and I absolutely love this series so much. If you don't know, it follows this, how do you even explain this? It follows this guy who is a like secret agent, and his next mission is to basically go undercover as the dad of a student at this school, at this private school, and he is investigating, like, I can't remember if the guy works at the school or if he is another like parent at the school, but he's involved with the school somehow. So he has to go undercover, and so first he has to find a child to be the father of. So he finds this girl, Anya, at an orphanage, and then he's like, well, I have to find a wife too. So he finds this woman, and she agrees to pretend to be his wife because of reasons, but it turns out she is an assassin, and it turns out that the child is a telepath and can read both of their minds. So she knows that her dad is a detective, not a detective. Okay, my battery died and I finished my drink, but we have more, so it's fine. But as I was saying, in Spy Family, the kid is a telepath, so she knows that her dad is a secret agent, a secret spy, a spy, whatever, and that her mom is an assassin, but they don't know that about each other, and they don't know that their child is a telepath, and it's so good. It's so funny, and like the found family trope is so strong in the series. I just love it so much. I love it so much. I can't wait to continue the series. So yeah, definitely a new all-time fave. So Summerbird Blue, I'm gonna say made some points. I'll put it in the front. I really liked this book. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 4.5, but I think I gave it 4. It definitely is a good exploration of grief. It's about a girl who loses her sister and she goes away for the summer to live with her, I think her grandmother or her aunt in Hawaii, and I just really liked it. Also, the main character is Arrow Ace and I really appreciated that rep. I thought it was wonderfully written and the grief really hit me at times and I really liked it and I thought it was good. It was a good time. So made some points, so there we go. Okay, next I'm gonna put you no, I'm gonna put you in the back. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. I did not like this book. I gave it, I think, 2 stars. If I gave it 2.5, it deserves a 2. I really did not. I really didn't like this book. Like, at least with the Moral Instruments, those books are kind of fun. Like, I can always find something to enjoy about those books. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, there wasn't really anything I liked about it. I mean, it wasn't a 1 star, like, it wasn't that bad. I just really did not like the writing of this book. I didn't feel connected to any of the characters. I thought things just happened so quickly in this book. Like, we would go from one thing to the next within a page and I'd be like, okay, well, what just happened? Because like she just got knocked out and now she's awake and now she's going over there and now she's knocked out again, and that would have happened between like 2 pages, and I'm like, let's just slow down a bit. And also, like, I thought I would like the romance in this book and then I just didn't care, and it's really sad because I got the UK cover, which is so pretty, but I didn't love this book, which was very sad. Okay, I'm gonna do Yerba Buena first because it feels right to do Song of Achilles last. So Yerba Buena, I'm gonna put in Made Some Points also. I'm gonna put it here. I really like this book. Once again, it was my first Nina LaCour book. It is I think it's adult. An adult contemporary. It's sapphic. It does deal with some heavier topics. There is some essay in this book, death of a loved one, and I think a few other things that I can't remember. But this book was really well written. I mean, the audiobook was great because it's narrated by Julia Whalen, who I love very much, and I really liked it, but it's not really a book that stuck with me. I haven't been telling you when I read these books, but that one I read in, I think, June, which feels like so long ago. But yeah, I really liked the audiobook and it was a good book, and I'm excited to read more from Nina LaCour. Okay. I don't know how to talk about this without sobbing, but we're gonna put Song of Achilles up here. You guys, Song of Achilles, I have been debating this for so long. I mean, since I read it, obviously, and I read it in August. Okay. It's very hard for me to say this because I love Babel so much, but I think Song of Achilles is my favorite book of the year so far. I do not see anything beating it. I do not see me reading a book this year that could top that. And if you want to know how much I love this book, there was a second where I wondered if I liked this more than Strange the Dreamer. Like, it was only a second, but the fact that I even pondered that question, the fact that I even considered it, that says a lot. Obviously, Strange the Dreamer is still my favorite book, but Song of Achilles might be my second favorite book of all time. I loved this book so much, and if you saw the vlog where I read this book, I read this at the most perfect time. I read this during a really hard week in my life that was filled with a lot of grief, and this book obviously deals with a lot of grief. If you know the original story, I knew like parts of it. I did not know the whole thing, so the ending was a little bit of a surprise to me. Obviously, we all know it's sad. I'm not gonna say what happens in case you don't know, but the writing in this book was so beautiful. Some of the most beautiful prose I've ever read. I loved this so much more than Circe by Madeline Miller. I found the book kind of boring. This one, I cared so much about the characters. I cared so much about Patroclus and Achilles. I loved their relationship. And then the ending of the book obviously got me, and like the last page, like thinking about it just makes me want to die. It made me want to die. And there's one page in this book that I've talked about, and like the writing, it's pretty early on in the book, and the writing on that page, like I kept rereading it and crying. I'm so happy that I annotated this book because I can go back and look at all my favorite lines, and there's a lot, and this book just means so much to me. I love it so much, and I worry that I wouldn't like it as much as other people because I thought like the hype would get to me, and I thought maybe I wouldn't, like my expectations would be too high, but I loved it so much. I loved it so much. It's so good. If you haven't picked it up yet, please pick it up. It's just so good. It is worth all the hype it has gotten, and it is one of my favorite books of all time. It just means so much to me, and it's my favorite book of the year. And it probably will stay that way until the end of the year. I really, really loved it. I already want to reread it. I want to read all the Greek myth retellings now. I bought the Iliad because I want to see my babies again in their original form, I guess. I don't know, but I'm just very, very excited about that this book exists. And that's my story. So those are all the books that I read in June, July, and August. I'm sorry that this wrap up is so late, but hopefully you enjoyed me talking about all these books and tier ranking them. Let me know if you've read any of these books, where you would rank them in my ranking list. Would they be in immediately no? Would they be in, what is it? To Me That's Cinema? Let me know. Also, what was your favorite book that you read this summer? I would love to know. But yeah. I still have some wine left, gonna go drink it. but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon. Bye!